Tsunami Studios.
The Worst Dudes, issue number 1. This is the latest release from Dark Horse. I don't talk about Dark Horse a lot because, I don't know, Hellboy, Resident Alien, that's about it. Lady Killer's done, so I don't really read a lot of Dark Horse, but I wanted to check this out just because I was hearing people talk about it on some just some news sites that do comic stuff, and it sounded pretty positive, so I was like, I'll give it a read. And before we get into this book, a fair warning, the cover even says it. It's pretty raunchy, pretty rude. There's some drugs and some sex and some violence, and it's pretty bad because these guys are terrible. It's literally in the title. They're the worst dudes, so be on the lookout for that. So this is written by Aubrey Sitterson. I don't know any of their work. Good. I think that's kind of cool. Tony Gregory does the artwork, and it looks pretty good. So, like I said, I don't know what to expect for this book. I went into this like, okay, this is going to be raunchy, apparently. It's going to be a little trippy, maybe. It's going to be terrible people because it's called The Worst Dudes, so I'm not going to expect them to be great people. But what we got was a very, very interesting book. It's cliched as hell, but that's not a bad thing. I think this is a case where the cliches work. I know I was reading, was it Newsarama, their Games Radar now, right? They compared it to something like The Big Lebowski. So that was kind of in my mind when I read this, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. This reluctant hero who's kind of doing a mission with these people that are kind of more extreme than him. I see where you're coming from with that. So we open up this book, and this weird, narwhal, Care Bear, Lorax-looking thing is hanging upside down. He's just screaming don't kill me. What are you doing? This is bad. This is silly. A lot of talk about, tits and balls and everything. Don't give your kid this book. It's pretty intense. So this weird seal thing has a gun to its head. We see that the guy that has the gun, his name is Sam Sugar. Great name. I love that name. He's like a cowboy deputy robot dude, and it looks great. Looks like a cool guy. So we realize that they have some history. Just kind of like jumping in the middle of a story. Like any great detective story will tell you, you start with an action scene, then you set up what the next story is going to be for our character. It works pretty well here. I think it's just like a great feeling. So this weird seal thing, it did something bad. He's not working for this guy anymore, slinging dope, but the boss is always coming to collect and that kind of stuff. So we see that Sam's gonna leave him for dead, and you're like, okay, interesting. But before he does that, he gets a call from this guy called the Yalukin, I think that's how you'd say that name. This weird sexual pervert who's playing with his nipples the entire time. He's like, yo, the big lady wants to see you when you're done whatever it is you're doing now. So he leaves the seal behind to be devoured by rats. Weird start to the book. You're like, okay, this is some weird space, sexy, violence, weird stuff. What's next? It's a weird opening, but I'm like, okay, I'm interested. What do you got for me? So we continue down into this book, and we see that Sam Sugar has been hired by, what do they call her? The Imperial Majesty. This giant woman, this goddess figure. Everything is sort of semi-sexual. Her guards are just wearing a Speedo, and they have guns, and you're just like, this is very stylized, but it's kind of fun. Interesting. So it's kind of like, hey, how's your family? He's like, I don't know. I don't talk to them. How's your family? And she's like, oh, they're pretty bad. My stupid husband, the Storm King, is an asshole. And we just see a cloud. Just a cloud. The Storm King's just a cloud. He has sex with a woman, gives birth to Cypher, and she's like a pop star, like a sexual orgy pop star weird person, but a goddess at the same time. And it's like, yeah, well, she went missing. I need you to find her, set up that story. I'm like, whoa, okay. I guess we're going to go solve what happened to Cypher. That's an interesting thing, and we hired Sam Sugar to do it. But of course, he can't go alone. That'd be stupid. This Imperial Majesty needs somebody there to make sure he does the right thing. And of course, it's her youngest son, this precious little darling, and she just loves him and adores him. He's just an arrogant Damian Wayne type, and I love it so much. It's really weird. He's like, you don't trust me to do the job, but I guess the kid's coming along for the ride. It's just pseudo-sexualism at its finest. It's just so much. I love it. So they got to lead for somebody that might know the whereabouts of Cypher. So they're going to go find out this guy's hanging out on an asteroid bar. Or is it, no, it's a comet. They specify comet so it can travel to different places. This guy has his own pussy mobile because he's just a really cool dude. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe Actually, I can believe, in a world where money shot and sex criminals both made a lot of money, I can believe that we go a little bit deeper into like the weird orgy space stuff, and it works fine. So the guy we are finding, people call him Cal. His name's like Caligula Mancho Mocho or something, and he's like a big cat guy with like a nose ring, and he's just a big dick apparently. It's weird. But I know there's going to be people that like it, so he's in, like, this bar called The Wet Spot. He's macking up on some chicks, and they start to, like, mack up on him, and it's like, okay. So the little Damian Wayne kid bursts in, he's like, what did you do to my sister? Because Cypher is his sister, and then they get into, like, a really weird fight. Sam Sugar's just like, I'll have a drink. And the kid just gets into a fight with the big old boy lion thing, and it is just the weirdest fight ever. The kid calls him a fat pink pussy, and I'm like, that is just right on the nose ring there for Cal. What is this? It's not bad, though. It's just like, if you weren't expecting it to be so over the top, you might get lost in like what it's trying to say, but it's pretty interesting. It's bizarre. The kid kind of gets his ass handed to him, but then right away we see that the kid grabs Cal's testicles and shoves them right back into his body, like right in there where Cal burps. And this is when Sam's like, okay, I think that's enough. We're never going to find out what happened to Cypher if you do this to him. So we head to this new place because Cal's like on board now for the plan. We're going to like this recovery center. They're going to rehab because, you know, Cal was on tour with Cypher. They used to hang out here after they did a bunch of drugs. They needed to recover in the eyes of the people. And you're like, okay, you are really just making these people terrible at every turn. All of them kind of suck. Sam's kind of a little bit decent because he's the good guy, but he doesn't really do anything to stop people from being assholes. What a weird book. What a weird book. I really like it. So, Cypher's not here. Where is she? We don't know. We're trying to get some information on her, but we see that the person that might have her is Bugsy Sprocket, which the Narwhal Seal Lorax thing from the beginning used to work for Bugsy Sprocket. Bugsy is such a good gangster name. I just think you really tried for something there. I love it. So Cal is talking to an old friend that's like a big dude with it's just like a nose face. And he's like, is this new drugs? These look sick. They gonna like make me feel things? So Cal takes the drugs, has like a weird acid trip, and he might be dead because the book ends with like, did we just kill one of the main guys already? Maybe. What is this? This was really weird, but kind of fun. I'm definitely going to read more of it. The characters are not likable, but they're interesting to read about. The pseudosexualism is going to be either lost on a lot of people, or they're going to see it right away in your face that, like, this is sexy. Not like a good kind of sexy. It's like, oh, sexual. It's all up in you. It's going to just make you uncomfortable, or it's going to get you going. And whatever it does for you, hey, it's there. Enjoy it, I guess. Like, it's fun. It's bizarre. It's so much going on, but at the same time, kind of funny and an interesting portrayal of characters I'm not familiar with. So kind of fun to see what this book became of. I think it could be an interesting read. Maybe if it toned down a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. The Worst Dudes, issue number 1. I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.